This podcast is for a mature audience and may be viewed as inappropriate or insensitive to some. Listener discretion is advised. The intention is to share conversation of like and unlike-minded individuals as they try to be the best them they can be in a life full of challenges, searching for love, acceptance, and positivity. Call 669-241-1422 and share yourself or catch up with Sweet Baby J for an anonymous face-to-face interview. Feel free to call in with questions, stories, thoughts, or anything you would love to talk about and share. Nothing is off the table when talking sweet with Sweet Baby J at 669-241-1422.
Ladies and gents and ladies, once again, you are here talking sweet with Sweet Baby J. As always, it's a no-face, no-case scenario where everyone has an opportunity to share or not share who they are. I always recommend not, but we got this young stallion here. My man, are you going to share who you are or not?
Nah, I'm going to stay anonymous.
I like that. So what's good, big boss? How you doing, man?
Everything's lovely, man. Taking it a day at a time, trying to survive, trying to make it.
You must admit it is definitely a hard knot life, especially with all that's going on these days. We got Corona chasing everybody.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's tough, man, with Corona, especially for homeowners, people laid off, families, everybody in those tough positions at the moment.
More than likely something that we're all trying to run away from. You have kids?
Yes, I have two.
Two? Are they in school or homeschooling?
They're in school, actually, and daycare.
Oh, okay. So they're real young. They liking it?
Yeah, they like it. It's straight. My big one, she like to interact, so 4-year-old.
How do you feel about sending your 4-year-old to school with kids who may be parents that they don't care about wearing masks?
Yeah, it's a tough decision. Good thing about it is the school they go to, our family owns the daycare, so it's not really too much of a concern, but it is a concern as well. We got to do what we got to do because, you know, the bills still got to be paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, the bills don't stop. Corona didn't stop the bills.
Yeah, Corona didn't stop the bills. That's a fact. The bills still coming. They want their money at the end of the day, and I got to provide for them, so we got to take those risks in order to stay afloat, so.
It's a hard not life, definitely. So what's good? Brought you here to this crazy place of Orlando. Are you originally from Orlando?
Yeah, I'm originally from here. I lived up north. I lived in New York for about a year. I lived in D.C. for about a year, and then I came back. I ventured back, but that's all a part of the story.
Oh.
This is why I had to go up. Came in today to share my story of what it's like growing up in tough environment, I would say suburbs hood. We ain't in the inner city where we from in Florida. I just want to share what other parents or individuals or young kids, teens, whoever who've been there or been through it or got somebody going, they can become more understanding and aware of the situation, because most people look at things from the outside and they can judge it or think they know what's going on, but unless you've been there or done that, it's tough for you to really grasp the moment.
So you've been there and you've done that?
Oh, yeah.
How was it for you?
It was a lot of learning experience. Like I said, for me, it took a bunch of checkpoints for me to finally put my head in the right direction. But I also see my peers and my friends around me going the other direction. But I know what they was going, so I never judge them till this day. And I never will, because you got to be born with it, or you got to have a high influencer around you, whether that's your mom, your grandma. Sometimes that still don't work.
So when you say you saw them going through it, what were they going through? What was...
My best friend, he was in foster care, but through his grandma, he ran the foster care.
Okay.
He lived 2 houses down. His mom was a crackhead. You don't know who his dad is. Food on the table was a struggle. I remember sharing dinner with him at night. My grandma, one thing about her, she'll cook whatever we had, whether it was sardine,
fried bologna?
Fried bologna.
I remember those days.
Sandwich. We used to share meals still, but like I said, I understand what he was going through, because it was a 3-bedroom house, probably 1,100 square feet. And it's probably 10, 11, 12 people living in there.
Wow. Hard knock life for real. So when you going back, what do you remember about his mother being on crack and not knowing his father? How was that?
For him, you know, he took it as far as he couldn't find love nowhere. When I look at my boy till this day, he dead, got arrested dead, but he didn't find love nowhere. His love he got from the streets. He went to school, beat up, rough. People probably laugh from him. I remember he wear the same drawers 3-4 days straight. I used to give him mine, be like, yo, change his drawers, man, because everybody making fun of him.
How was they seeing his drawers?
Sagging.
Come on, man. Hey, listen, if you got some dirty drawers on, at least keep your pants up. Hide your drawers.
That's what came with, I guess it was the style, it was the trend, so he was following it.
How did he die?
He died from a gunshot. He dropped out when he was 16. Unfortunate situation one night. I was actually with him. I guess somebody he had a bad drug deal with came back looking for him on that night and got the best.
He died when he was 16?
Yeah, 16.
So he was selling drugs at 16?
Yeah, dropped out probably like 15, 14, but he was in alternative school majority of his life.
What was he selling?
Crack.
So his mother was a victim of crack, and he was selling crack.
Oh yeah, it's a tough way to look. Who's there to tell him crack is, your mother and your grandmother is on? Who's there to influence him on that when he ain't got no guardian, no guidance, got no mom, no dad. He got a grandma. And she got 10, 11. She already got 7, 8 grandkids living in the house and brothers. And
she
sisters.
can't focus on any one person.
On any one,
man.
She barely putting the meals on the table to feed the whole house.
How many of his siblings? Dang, I don't even want to say survived, but how many got out of that situation and are progressive?
None. Yeah, none. His sister actually became a crackhead. She followed. She's young too. She probably about 24
now.
Right now, yeah.
24 and on crack.
Yeah, on crack. Yeah, 24. His brother in jail for murder. His little brother got took foster care. They came and took him from that foster care from his grandmother. They had a domestic violence case in the house. They came and took the youngest. He was probably 3 at the time. Somebody adopted him. And then his other youngest brother, who was probably, I want to say 7 at the time, he's still there. He broke out too. He on the wrong path as well right now. I see him every time I go to my grandparents' house. My grandparents still live. So I see him. He on the wrong path as well.
So he sold drugs. His mother was a victim of drugs.
Right.
His sister got caught up in the game. She was on drugs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How I look at it, it's a cycle. If nobody break the cycle or nobody's there to highly influence the cycle to be broke, the cycle continues. And you know why the cycle continues? Because you don't have a reason to do good. You got to think about this. When you growing up, we idolize the people in the streets.
To see what's before you.
What's before you. You come outside every day and you playing football in the road or whatever in the street. You hanging around drug dealers or the highly affiliates of the neighborhood. What you see them do, they get money. They driving fancy cars or they stunting with the high flashy lifestyle.
Women.
You as a young individual, when you ain't got nothing, you struggling to eat, you wearing the same clothes, same shoes, you living off of donations pretty much. We used to have a truck that came through sometimes in the summer and just drop off bags of clothes and shoes. Whoever can grab their size, grab their size.
How did that feel, getting clothes from donations, and how did that feel, having to take these clothes or look forward to these clothes and knowing that this is all you have? How did that feel, just even living like that as a kid, knowing that, did you know that there was better, that you just had to fight for it, but your fight would have been much more than the average Joe's?
Oh, yeah, definitely. For me, I found it within myself. I wouldn't say nobody really. The good thing about me also, I had grandmother in my ear. My uncle lived with me. They were always in my ear, and my cousins were 2 houses down from me as well. My older cousins, they were always on my back. They see me out late night, they pushing me in the house. I had a little bit of people behind me pushing me as well. I always knew that after a while, I always said to myself, I wanted this. I wanted a homeowner.
You had people in your ear. What about your parents?
My mom and my dad, I think they divorced probably when I was 4.
How did you take that?
To be honest, I wasn't aware. I didn't really get it at the moment. I was that kid that always believed in my dad, even though he never did nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Common thing, man.
I was that kid.
He could do no wrong.
He could do no wrong. He always tell me he coming to get me. He never come. He tell me he coming again. I always was waiting on him.
He was ready.
I was ready, always ready. But my dad was never really there. I ain't gonna lie, it hurt. It still bothers me till this day. When I see him, I grimace toward him now. I don't even like him, to tell you the truth. But I always try to speak to him, hope something. But my dad is like a natural liar. He lies compulsively. He can't help it. Even now, me as an adult, I ask him to come by, help me out with something around the house because he know handiwork or do something for me. He'll tell me he coming. He still don't come.
Have you ever had that conversation with him?
I did.
Yo, why did you lie to a kid?
Yeah.
It's easy. You could tell a kid, I'm not coming.
Right,
They may be upset, but at least they can handle the truth.
Yeah, one day, me and my dad, probably when I want to say 16, we had a little moment. He promised me he was going to pick me up or something like that on the week. I don't remember what it was, but we were talking, and then I broke out on him. I went off. I was like, yo, you always lying. You don't never do shit for me. You don't take care of me. You don't even bring me no shoes or nothing. And I was going off, and I started crying, and he called himself trying to check.
He tried to check you rather than console you?
Rather than console me. Like,
wow.
Who you talking? He got in my face and mushed me, and he got into a little scruffle. And actually, I was at the time, I was kind of big. I played ball. I used to lift weights heavy. That was my little getaway, lifting weights.
Everybody need a getaway.
Yeah, that was my little getaway. I had a little weight set in the back. I used to lift iron like 4 or 5 times a day. I roughed them up. And my grandparents, and they all was telling me, no, you can't do that. You got to apologize, even if this is and that. I never really apologized, and I just left it at that. And then he came around still. He would try to speak to me, but like I said, I always held the respect and just said, hey, and kept it pushing, but never really much grew toward having a father. So for me, that was always tough because nobody taught me how to be a man. I learned how to be a man on my own. If my my grandmother, I would say.
You said that you played ball, you did a lot of weightlifting.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why so many athletes come from the hood? When you think
yeah.
about football,
Oh,
basketball, so many come from the hood. Many. There are a lot. I don't know statistically how it goes, but
No, that's a high statistic. You're definitely right. That was our little fun. That was our little getaway. You competing against each other, playing ball in the backyard or the empty fields. I think it's the drive. You get caught up in that dream. You see it on TV, NBA players, NFL players. You see them making it and making millions. So it drives you to want to do that. But problem is 95% of us don't make it.
Don't make it.
And so most of us hang our hat on that, and then when it don't happen, fall flat, you back in the hood.
I had a family member tell me one day that she wanted to be a rapper.
Right.
And I was like, so what's your plan B? Because you better have one. Everybody want to be a rapper, but that does not mean you're going to make it. You say that to a kid, you're not necessarily crushing their dreams, but in a way I can see how for them you're crushing their dreams.
Yeah.
But
that's all they believe in, but they need somebody to tell them that. And nobody really told me that either. My mom was kind of like dependent on me to make it.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy. And like my mom, she was in and out my life. I lived with my grandmother majority of my life.
Why was your mother in and out your life?
My mom was a street girl. She was a hustler. She did her thing. She did her thing to make waves. She, like I said, she took care of me financially, but my mother...
When you say she did her thing, she was a hustler, what specifically was she doing?
My mom sold work. She sold drugs. She sold drugs. She moved work. She was high up there. Her name well known. She well respected as far as that aspect because she was a female. Yeah, as a female, yeah. She was very, very well respected. You know?
I could only imagine you had to do some things to get that respect.
Oh, yeah. See, my mom, I know why my mom couldn't love me the way my grandmother loved me. It was a difference. My mom, kind of like my friend, she didn't have no love. My mom lost her mom, her dad, her brother,
How did she lose them all?
All the bullets. My mom lost her mom. I never seen my grandma. My grandmother who raised me is my great-grandmother. My grandmother died before I was born. Her husband killed her.
Grandmother was killed by your grandfather.
Right.
So I could only imagine he was in jail.
Right.
You never met him?
I never met him. He was actually not my real grandfather. He was my grandfather-in-law. He was her second husband.
Wow.
Yes, at the time.
So damn,
yeah,
man.
I never met him. I never met him or my grandmother. So my mom lost her mom to her husband killing her. And then after that, I remember I was probably around like 6. And I was living with my grandmother as well at the time. And I remember my mom's brother died. He lived in Baltimore at the time. And the police killed him.
The police killed him?
Police killed him, yeah. And then the crazy part about it, that 3 months later, her father died. He died. Somebody shot him in the parking lot. So she lost her brother and her father within 3 months apart.
Sheesh.
So she crushed. I know her. She moved around. She lived in New York majority of her life as well. But that's due to not having nowhere to live.
Yeah.
My grandmother had a house full of grandkids already. I understand
Space
her
was
part.
limited.
My mom's tough. My mom like a tough girl. You know, her way of giving love is buying me something. And I tell her like that don't work sometimes. Sometimes I need to be able to talk to you. I can't have a conversation with my mom. She like tough dude you talking to, like trying to have like a
man
serious
up. She be telling you man up.
Like shut up. Yeah. So
Wow.
my grandmother was like my nurturer. Really, that's the only place I ever got love from. Tell you the truth.
That's not my background.
Right.
And I'm not going to say unfortunate. I was blessed to have both my parents in my life. And I would go to Costa Rica and spend time with my grandparents. I have my brothers. The closest I come to that is my older brother. He got shot. And he was in that life. When my older brother got shot, I'll never forget it. My mother came to me. I was sleeping. And I remember sleeping on the bunk bed. Our story are just very different. I remember my mother coming to me and saying, your brother got shot. And knowing the life that he was living, all I said was okay and went back to sleep. Because I knew he was out there. It was bound to happen.
Yeah.
It was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And when I went to go see him in the hospital and I saw those tubes coming out of him, so my brother passed away. And for my brother's eulogy, I said, I love my brother because he gave me the best lessons in life. He showed me everything what you don't want to be.
Right.
Through his ways, I saw it and I was like, that is not for me. But did you see it like that? When you see these, you didn't see it as like, nah, don't go that way.
Nah, because for me, it's similar like how I seen it. But for me, it took multiple occasions. I would say kindergarten through 5th grade, I was a good kid.
It's pretty young, Playboy.
Yeah, I was a good kid, AB kid. Didn't really get in trouble. I was kind of soft, I would say. I got not really picked on, but like, bullied from the bigger, badder kids in the neighborhood.
The misfits.
The misfits, yeah. After a while, I started being that bully.
Started hardening up.
I started being the bully. And so for me, my Once I got in middle school, that's when I broke out. I was fighting every day.
Everybody could get it.
Yeah, everybody can get. I was in sets.
So you was in gangs too, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't like a nationwide gang. It was more of like a set.
What's a
my
set?
Street, like my street. Everybody on my street, we called each other a certain name. So it was like my street could be against another street or another neighborhood. It was my set. Everybody in my hood wasn't from the same set, because if you wasn't from my street, you wasn't in my set or in our set.
I had a somewhat, I wouldn't say privileged, but my parents did everything in their power to keep us away from that.
Right.
So when I see it, I don't quite understand it.
Right.
But the whole hand signs and all that, y'all did all that?
Yeah.
What I never get about that is that you put so much effort into learning these language that you do with your hands. Damn it, you know, if you learn sign language, that's a job right there.
Yeah. But the way you think about it is, if we had somebody to tell us that, or if we had somebody to make us feel like that was important enough at the moment in what we were doing. You got to think about it. This is what you grow into. It's not like you choose it by choice. When I wake up every day and I come outside and I'm with these group of guys, whether we playing ball or we walk into the store or we fighting other people, I know that they got my back. These my brothers.
So it's not really something that you just grew up into. It's something that you're pretty pushed into.
You pushed into, yeah. You shoved into it. It's there. It's what's in front of you. And it's hard for a young individual not to grasp that, because that's where you get all your love and your fun from at the time. As a kid. And as a kid, you want to do anything that's fun.
My parents owned a business in the hood. In the hood.
Yeah.
That's how I really interacted. We were business owners in there. So I was cool with everybody. We never had no problems. We showed the utmost respect, and we got the utmost respect. Because even though we wasn't from that life, I think it was pretty clear that still anybody can get it.
Oh, yeah.
There was a mutual respect. But at the same time, I just never really understood how is it that the people that lived in the projects down the block from the store did not get along with the people that lived in the next projects that was just down the block. And I mean, they would be getting into shootouts all the time.
Something like that happened in my neighborhood starting my 8th grade year. It became a city war, and it just ended, I would say, maybe 2 years ago.
How?
I'm about to explain to you.
Tell me, brother. I need to know. The masses need to know, because I don't understand.
You sets. All it takes is, how it usually happens is, all it takes is one individual not to like another individual from another set.
Just not like it could be y'all went to the same school.
It could be simple, yeah, same school. And that's majority of the time it happens like that. It's something that happens in school. It just trickles back down to the neighborhood, and it becomes outside of school problem. Wow. Right? So, for instance, it was this side of my neighborhood against another neighborhood that was 5 minutes away, walking distance. And it all started over a female. One individual got into it over another dude about a female. He beat him up, whatever, knocked him out. And all of a sudden, they started fighting each other, jumping each other. And then it turned to gunplay.
That quick.
And that's crazy, because, like I said, that I seen my first person die, which was my best friend, brother. He threw a huge party, graduation party. It was my freshman year. He was a senior. Crazy part, those guys from that other set came that night
to the party
that
they weren't invited to.
They weren't invited. It was a block party though. Block party.
So they would legit come to a block party that they know they have no business being at.
Oh yeah, but they hidden. They ain't seen. They hidden. They somewhere hidden, like in the car. They wait till the right moment. It's a plotting situation. You know, that night of the party, I would say everything kind of turned up a notch. It was always, you know, hood, other little beefs, like little petty stuff. Somebody shooting, but it's all natural reaction, like fight then a shoot. It wasn't like nothing like premeditated. Now this turned to all the premeditations after this incident. So this guy came. He came with his boys. One dude, he came. He shot in the crowd to shoot my homeboy brother.
Shot in the crowd randomly.
He shot maybe like 14 shots. He hit my homeboy brother in the neck, and like somewhere in the chest somewhere, and he hit like 4 other random people.
Really?
Yeah, 4 other random
people.
So
5 people.
5 people got shot. So that's the first night that I got to witness death in my eyes, seeing somebody die face to face. So my brother, I call him my brother, which is my best friend, his brother died that night, and I watched him die on the ground. This is the difference. Like I said, I ain't never judging nobody, because my brother was he was that kid in our group, in our set, that didn't get in trouble, that wasn't a fighter. He was the one that played game. He hung with us. We got his back. He got our back, but he wasn't the fight. He was the chill one. He liked cartoons. He draw. He was a cool guy.
He was just chilling.
He was just chilling. He was always the chill, laid back one.
Was he at that point he was in school?
Yeah, he was in school.
Okay.
Yeah. This is different. We all hung together. The one who I told you about in the beginning, This is my best friend too, but he lived 2 houses down from me.
Oh, okay.
This is the one, he lived right up the street. So for instance, it ruined him. He went from the quiet, humble kid who was always in the house playing video games, drawing cartoons, to a full-blown gangster.
Now he a monster.
I mean, complete monster. And like I said, can't judge him because I don't know what it feel like to lose your blood brother.
See it happen.
And see it happen. I know our mindset at the time, but at the time we was fighting. We wasn't shooting. The older guys was shooting.
This went to the next level.
This went to the next level. Ruined him. He turned to a cold-blooded gangster. After that, he started hanging out with the older guys, making plots.
And the older guys are embracing him like, yo, come on.
Embracing him, influencing him like, yeah, we got to get payback. Some of us tried to explain to him the right way to do it. I mean, even though at the time we were telling him to handle his business, but do it smartly.
No one sees that handling your business is getting away from that life.
It's crazy.
See, this is something about me. I'm going to tell you, I'm a professional 911 dollar.
Right.
You can call me a snitch, you can call me whatever, but I'm trying to make it to the next day.
Oh yeah.
And I will put your ass behind bars in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh yeah. You see, like I said, this is my year where I matured as an individual, where I want to get away from all of this. This is my year, because this is what I call my year of death. When I was going from 14 to 15, I seen 3 people die face to face. Not heard about it, like there on the scene. Like I said, I was fighting a lot. I've been stabbed twice.
Damn, where'd you get stabbed at?
I got stabbed in my hand and in my stomach.
That's a big wound right there, brother.
Yeah, man.
How did that feel to get stabbed?
I didn't feel it at first. To be honest, it didn't hurt until I got the stitches. The stitches were hurt. Yeah, it was tough. That's from fighting and trying to block a knife. Through my hand. But yeah, like I was saying, after that death began the neighborhood wars. That's how it started. Boom. People dying from their side, people dying from our side. And it went up from there. And then after that, I seen my other best friend die, the one I told you in the beginning, who mom was a crackhead. That same night, we was chilling with my same homeboy, who brother just passed, who was at his house till probably like 1 in the morning on a Thursday, school night. So I'm like, yo, I tell him, I say, bro, I gotta go to school in the morning. My grandma sleep, I snuck out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go, I'm going to school. So he like, yo, I'm gonna walk with you, because we live 2 houses down. So we both walk back, we leaving, and we get about right in front of my house, and he say, yo, bro, let's play the game. I said, man, you crazy, man?
What game?
Video game.
Okay. I'm like, what game you want to play this time of night?
I had a little Xbox, so you want to play like Madden or something. I don't remember the game, but I was like, nah, man, you crazy, man. You know my granddad be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Can't come to the house this time of night.
Always have that respect for the grandparents.
Yeah, I was like, nah, man, my granddad had a trip, man. He come to the house this time of night. So I dapped him up, and I was like, yo, I'll link with you tomorrow to school or whatever. Like, all right, cool. So I dapped him up. I went in the crib. I slept in the living room. That was my room at the time. I didn't have a room. I'm on the living room. I had a little flip phone. I'm on the phone texting. And for some reason, I just stopped. I was just staring at the ceiling. And I'm just looking at the ceiling. And I don't know why. It's crazy. But it's like whenever I go in these blank moments, something always happens. And after that, I heard probably 8 shots. Boom, 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 boom. So it sounded like it's in front of my house, like somebody shooting at my house. So I jump off the couch, lay down on the ground, and start army crawling outside the living room into the kitchen. After the shots go off, my granddad get up. He's like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. I heard some shots. So we got a little blind in the door. We open up the blind light through the door. I see my boy coming through my yard like full speed. I ain't noticed it was him at first, but shoom, he cut through my yard. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, damn, somebody just cut through the yard. So my granddad was like, he got his little shotgun. We went outside, and I looked to my left, and my boy, he in my neighbor's yard in his doorway, laid out, which that's his uncle. And the crazy part is in the hood, everybody
related.
Like everybody related. It's weird. So everybody in the hood, every house. And he laying there, bro. And so I walk over, I'm like, yo, what happened? Like, what happened to you? What happened? I'm talking to him. And the whole time, only thing he said was, like, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. And the crazy part is his eyes just shut. That was it. That was the second time I seen death. It didn't hit me the first day. It took a couple days, and I just broke down. I would say it started, like, dawning on me, seeing people die. It became, like, common. Because although I seen 2 people die at this time, I hear of other people dying all the time.
You're not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it. But now I've seen 2 deaths, like face to face. So crazy part is we go on from there. Life keep moving as well. 2 months later, I see my 3rd death. This is what I call the year of deaths, man. I'm chilling on the green box on a Saturday.
The green box? What the hell is that?
The electric box. Everybody.
That's in front of the house?
In front of the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
yo, why would you... Man, listen, bro.
That's the hangout spot.
Why would you be even in front of your house, man? And hearing how this life was, I'd be in my backyard all day.
Right, but you don't think like that because you become accustomed to it. And that's what most people don't understand. It's not like a trigger go off in your head like, oh, people dying, drugs getting sold, people on crack. Oh, I need to get away from this automatically. When you're young, you're going to grow towards that. Like, it's okay. It becomes a norm. For you on the outside, because you don't, or somebody else on the outside, they don't see it as that because it's out of their norm. They don't live that every day. So when they hear that, they're like, oh, why would they just leave? You know, they're dumb. Why they just don't move? Why they just don't make something of themselves? That's like a kid. He see you pick up the remote control and turn on TV. He pick it up and turn on TV after a while.
Learn behavior.
You learn behavior. You learn traits. So it's a common thing. It's what people see and kids see, and that's what we grow to. After that, I seen my third death. A guy trying to bully another guy. He shot a guy in the head. Another guy shot him in the head right in the front of my house as well.
Somebody was trying to bully him?
Yeah, about $50.
And the dude that was getting bullied?
Killed the dude who was bullying him. Yeah, $50, man. So
crazy. That's another life. That's 2 lives going because he going to jail for the rest of his.
Yeah, he went to jail. He actually could have beat it if he had a lawyer. It's self-defense, kind of, tell you the truth, because the dude went up in his yard.
And he didn't have a lawyer.
He didn't have no lawyer, man.
Couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford no lawyer. Public defender. He just went in and said, yeah, I did it. He didn't really explain the story. He really could have beat it, though, if he had a legit lawyer, like a team behind him. It didn't happen instant. The dude was agging him. We all there watching them. We laughing. The crazy part, I was recording. The whole thing. The big OG on the block, he told me, he was like, yo, put the phone up. That's crazy. It's like he knew it was going to happen. Almost. I put the phone up. I was recording. I put the phone up. I had majority of the footage.
You still got that?
Nah.
I
got rid of that. I threw away the whole phone. After the incident, my uncle made me throw it away. They were arguing. He was like, oh, you going to give me my money? I'm going to beat your ass, blah, 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 blah. Old dude was like, man, just leave me alone, please. He was scared. He was honestly scared. The dude was bigger than him. He was scared. He was like, yo, just leave me alone, please. Just leave me alone, please, please, please. And the dude was like, nah, I'm going to beat your ass, like pushing this, pressing him. He was like, man, just leave me alone. You can hear him like, it sounded like he was crying. The way we were saying, like, leave me alone, just leave me alone, man, leave me alone. And the dude was like, nah, man, nah. He walked up on him. He walked up in the yard, like, don't come in my yard. He was like, don't come in my yard. As soon as he got in the yard, bro, it was like a movie scene. Pulled the gun from his waist, hit him right between the eyes. Straight like that. Was like a movie, bro. The whole street like flooded with blood. Wow. He had a big exit wound. Firefighters had to come spray.
Hose it down
to get it out.
I've seen that before. We were going on a bus ride. Yeah. Being in Brooklyn, you have that bus ride, everybody meet up in one spot. And this is where we had one of our businesses.
Right.
Walked around the corner. I walked around the corner right after the shootout.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. These dudes were in a cream-colored Maxima. Everybody in the car got killed. So it was 5 people. All the bodies were hanging out the car.
Right.
Blood was pouring everywhere, and all you saw was the blood flowing down because the fire hydrant was on. This is summertime. Yeah, hot in the summertime. Yeah. That's when everybody started dying. You just saw all this blood.
Everybody died in the winter here.
In Florida? Mm-hmm. Why you think that is?
I don't know. It's weird. Wow. Around this time, everybody used to die.
Death is seasonal.
We always say when it's getting cold, there's 2 things that's going to happen. People going to die, and the police do a raid before every holidays.
Really?
Yeah.
See, it was the opposite in New York. When you see it start getting hot, you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like in the winter. I don't know why, man. It's like somebody always die. Or a couple people die.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, man, but like I always tell people, man, individuals who don't understand, when you see individuals doing what they do, don't necessarily judge them, man. Of course, it's not right. Nobody condones it. You know it's wrong. But before you judge somebody, man, you don't know what they're going through because it might be a reason he's stealing from you or stealing from somebody else. I remember eating mayonnaise sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Mayonnaise sandwiches,
that
bro.
Don't sound tasty. That doesn't sound gourmet.
Mayonnaise sandwiches, Vienna sausages, sardine all the time, crackers and butter, rice and butter. Like I said, my boy, he stole a lot as well, but he ain't never get nothing on Christmas. He was missing meals. He a kid. He just trying to get for himself, and that's the reason why he's stealing. But it's not right, and it's not. It's other ways.
But you don't see the backstory.
You don't see the backstory. He don't know that. He don't know. All he doing is trying to grab something, get a meal, or entertain himself. Whether he's stealing, whatever he's stealing. I always just try to tell people, don't judge because you don't understand. Yeah, there's reasons why people sell drugs and why people don't make it and people die. Because it's a cycle. And I look at it as, I don't blame anybody, but I look at it starts all the way from slavery, from when they put certain black individuals in ghettos. I don't know if you believe in it, but like when they said the government put cocaine in the ghettos. So to me, it's a cycle, bro. Only way it's broke is education. I think education, the only way we change these cycles.
Funny you say that. In today's society, where these cycles still exist,
right? And
you hear people saying because of police brutality and these murders that take place because of police, and you hear people say defund the police. Mm-hmm. When I hear that, I think defunding the police would be demilitarizing the police.
Right.
But I think that's not even the issue because the police still go into situations where they need those high-powered weapons. Education. We need to start funding education.
It's education.
The thing is that education is not across the board.
No.
There are communities where they get high-powered laptops to take home. They get better school equipment. Everything is just better, while in the more impoverished communities, they don't have the same equipment. They don't even have the same teachers. People are not invested into these kids where they should get more investment, knowing that they have way more challenges at home.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, it's very lopsided, and that's so unfortunate. So when people say, who's the president, we need to start putting people in power at the lower ranks to make sure that they look out for you and yours.
Right.
Make sure they look out for you and yours so that you can break these cycles. I hear people say, I was at a barbershop. I know it don't look like I go to the barbershop, but I was at the barbershop and this dude was saying he don't vote. I asked him, why not? Are you a felon? Right. He said, nah, I just don't vote. I'm like, man, you crazy.
Right.
And on top of that, whoever is in office, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to say anything.
Right, about what's going on. Yeah.
What's going on? You got to keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about police brutality. Don't talk about education is not what it should be. Yeah. You lose that right if you can't vote and you don't.
None of that matters to you if you don't vote.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's just how I see it.
No, I see it the same way. Also, I would say police, there is corrupt cops. We had some when I was growing up. I remember walking home and the police just pulled up on me, pulled me over, and he decided to search me. And I wasn't even doing nothing. I was just walking home with a video game in my hand because I guess he thought I fit the description of a thug.
We all fit the description. It's an unfortunate reality.
In the hood, I would say also, it starts with the education, man. It's very important, man. It's so important to educate the children from early. If there was some type of after-school free program that's in the neighborhood, like a civic center, like a boys and girls club, that's for free, that kids can go to every day after school to keep them busy. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get in trouble, it's because you're trying to find something to do.
Idle time is the devil's time.
You know what I'm saying? As a kid, 9 times out of 10, you're bored. So if you got something where you can go and they create incentives like, hey, you get good grades, you get to go on these field trips.
You're right.
You know
so my first job was actually at a boys and girls club. And I used to be like, yo, these bad kids. Yeah. But they were actually good kids.
Right.
Just misguided.
Misguided, yeah.
And some of them really just came there for food.
Right.
And something to do. And you are 100% correct. So don't really look at defunding the police. And there are parts where the police can actually do their part in guiding kids in the right direction. Try to be viewed more as a role model instead of a terminator.
It's true.
You can do more by having someone look up to you. These kids look up to all the criminals. They look up to the drug dealers. They look up to the pimps, players, and hustlers. But at the same time, you might impact that 1, 2, or 3 kids to say, that's a cop that I would like to be like.
You know what's crazy that you say that? I used to always, what made my day when I was a kid, we had this one police officer, I forgot his name, man. He used to be at the park. He used to come to the park. He used to get out the car and he used to give us free Slurpee tickets.
They do that for my daughters. And she be so hype.
When we used to walk to the 7-Eleven. It wasn't far from where we was. Those free Slurpee tickets, man, we loved him for that. And he used to get out the car sometimes, might throw the football with us and get back in the car. But that meant everything to us. That we liked him. We loved him, actually. Maybe anything he would have told us, we would have listened to at the time. He didn't fall.
That simple.
It was that simple. But because he was giving us something and we ain't used to nobody giving us nothing, we idolized him.
So he got all the respect in the hood.
He got all the respect, but he wasn't there long. For some reason, I don't know, maybe changed him to a different jurisdiction. He was maybe there for a good 4 or 5 years. He got some other guys that were different. Douchebags, yeah.
It's funny. A lot of people say police officers need to be of the community, a part of the community. Now, that sounds like an officer that was definitely being of the community, being a part of the community by influencing these kids with something that was free. It took nothing from him.
Nothing.
And 7-Eleven, they're going to make their money regardless.
We getting free small slushies.
And that left a big positive impact on you.
Huge impact. When I say they used to make when I see him, I used to get so excited. Like I used to chase the car. Like, officer, yeah, please get a Slurpee ticket. Ice cream truck come. You might not have no money to get no ice cream, but that Slurpee, that make your day as a kid. That's a huge influence, man. I would say if police officers you see in these videos is ones that get out and play basketball,
play football,
talk to them, like become more of like a friend. Like sometimes it's not always about, it's more than just locking people up. Doing the job becomes more a part of making relationships.
Yeah, 1000%. Be Superman, don't be the Terminator.
Imagine me idolizing a police officer or any kid. Every time you getting ready to do something, you're going to think about that officer like, damn, I don't want to get in trouble, officer such and such. I think it's an education process. Police officers need to be better educated because you got to grow those relationships for people to trust you and understand you and respect you. Because if not, we hate them. Tell you the truth, 9 times out of 10.
1000%. Society has changed over the years. We talked about your friends and family members that have been victims of crack. I remember crack is whack. There's a huge sign, graffiti in Harlem that says crack is whack. It's really influential from back in those days. But now, in today's society, we have heroin, which is the issue.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just a black people problem.
Yeah, they call it dog food. It's high in the Latin community.
Really? They call it dog food? I didn't know that.
Dog food.
Why they call it dog food?
I have no idea. That's the name.
It starts hitting the more lighter persuasion of life. And you see people zooked out on the streets, whatever. Now it's a health issue.
Yeah.
But when it was crack, it was a crime issue.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I think it's the difference with today's society and back. Remember, crack was like weed back in the day. It was cool to do it.
Shit.
When it first came out.
Really?
When you first came out, you got to think about who was crackheads. It was mamas and grandmas. It wasn't the young individuals. When I was growing up, it was always the mamas, the grandmas, and old heads who was on crack.
Your friend's sister was on crack.
Yes.
I never understand. Now, you see what has happened to people, how they end up on crack.
Yeah.
What would make you... I saw Pookie in New Jack City.
You want me to tell you the honest how I think individuals get on crack? I only know 2 young individuals in my lifetime that got on crack. It was her, one of my boys, his friend, young individuals. They ain't really like slumped out crackheads, but they do crack. When they high, you know they high.
Sheesh.
You know they act out. But I'm going to tell you how it starts. You get around the wrong group of people, and guess what they say? Let's try this.
Oh, hell to the no.
You get what I'm saying? Let's put this in. For us, I know for us growing up, you bring crack anywhere around us, that's fighting.
Yeah.
Like, as far as like trying to get us to hit it, anything like that, that's a super insult when we were growing up. Like I said, most of the young individuals didn't do crack in my generation. Heroin, I would say the difference with heroin and crack is heroin, ever since that crime bill, like people talk about with Joe Biden, I remember everybody when I was growing up who was selling crack was getting double digits as far as time in jail. Once that crime bill passed, everybody was getting 20 years, 15 years. And when they say, you know, when Jesus said you get more time for selling dope than murder,
Yeah.
it's a crazy world.
It's
a lyric he say. It's true. So I would say all the people who sell heroin and do heroin, it's an undercover business now. It's not like, I would say, a street, like a corner business. Back in the day, crack was more of a corner lot. You own a corner, you sell your crack.
Everybody was in them streets.
Everybody was in the streets. I believe heroin is more of a behind-the-scenes drug operation. You don't see heroin dealers on like the corner. Maybe up north, but here you would never know who sell heroin.
Yeah, but the impact that it has, you see the people, it just amazes me to hear how crack was such a crime issue, and it was a black crime issue.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas now, heroin really doesn't hold any demographic.
Oh, yeah.
But it's seen as a health issue now, as the lighter persuasion is impacted greatly.
Yeah.
That really...
I don't understand it either, but like I said, in the hood, you don't know who's selling heroin. And right there, that tells you a lot. So whoever is smoking heroin, you don't know unless you know them personally. In the hood, you know a crackhead. She coming to buy crack off the corner.
Yeah.
You don't see a heroin addict coming to buy heroin off the corner. I'm pretty sure they got to get on their phone to make their purchase.
So you see them bent over, looking like a letter L.
Oh, yeah. Normal.
Really?
That was normal. Seeing people slump. We saw that. You know what's crazy? I'm going to tell you what the drug dealers used to do for entertainment. I'm going to tell you, it's crazy. It's not. It's funny, but it's sad.
Sad.
Being outside all night, you know what they used to do make the crackheads do for crack? Some of the females, They used to make them strip, eat garbage, run up and down the street naked, whatever, like put a firecracker in their mouth, like dumb crazy stuff.
And they would do it.
That's how bad they wanted that hit. They would do it. Anything for that hit. And for them, that was their entertainment. They laughing, kiki la la, like it's funny. It's a tough ballpark. It's a tough ballpark.
How do you see that, knowing that you've grown beyond that, you're a productive person in society, and knowing that you still, one, came from that, and you still have family members in that?
Right.
Is it ever a thing to stay away from it?
I try my best.
Is it ever a thing currently that you could possibly be drawn into that?
Yeah.
How?
I'm going to tell you how. I always have to catch myself. Like whenever I never worry about the crime issue, I'm way past that. I would never do anything like dumb crimes. But far as when it comes to money, I know all the ways to make money. So
I feel you.
If I'm low on money or something, it might cross my path for my interest because I'm so close to it. I know how to make a quick buck really fast. I know how to grab a flip, or I always try to stay my best away from it. I'm not gonna lie, there's been a few times where I went and did it for maybe a 2-week period to maybe make some extra funds because I had to make this or do that.
And if you would have been caught, you would have been just another Vic.
Just another Vic. I never in my life ever sold any crack, heroin, pills.
What do you feel about that? When knowing people that have been destroyed by that, I could never understand selling something so devastating in your own community.
Yeah, like I said, man, the worst thing I ever sold was marijuana. But crack, heroin, the reason why I couldn't sell it, because I'm scared of the time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You get caught with a 10 bag, that's 5 years.
That's why that crime bill was out there, man. I think it was really there to deter people.
Nah, I don't agree with the crime bill, tell you the truth. I think it could have been a better way. I think the crime bill ruined black families.
1,000%.
The crime bill, it deteriorated the black father out of homes.
1,000%.
But our mothers on welfare and EBT.
What I'm saying about that is like you see that and it's like, yo, I can't get caught with that time. But at the same time, you have people doing whatever not to get caught.
Yeah, doing whatever. And also they doing whatever to make ends meet.
Yeah.
You got to think about it, man. You got to think about it. As a kid, your mama's struggling to pay the bill, ain't food on the table. When you finally get to that age where it's something you can do to help, you know what I'm saying? And that's the quickest route and it's right outside your door, you're going to jump on it.
Just to do your part.
Just to do your part.
Just to have a decent pair of sneakers.
Nobody thinking, hey, this is going to affect my community. This is going to ruin people's lives. This is going to fiend the addicts. Nobody think that way. You know
why do you think nobody thinks about that?
Because at the time, they're thinking about themselves. It's a selfish game. You're thinking to provide. When you're doing it, 9 times out of 10, you're doing it to be a provider. And the problem is once you get caught, you stuck. You're a felon.
And you got nothing to do but that.
But that. You locked into the system. It's a chain. Now, that's why I feel like it can be different ways that the criminal system can be readjusted to help with those type of situations. Like I said, create programs.
Teach trades. Like if you get locked up, teach somebody how to be a mechanic. Start your own business. In a way, you think about it, these dudes are somewhat entrepreneurs. Take that negative energy, make it positive energy, and teach them how to grow beyond the block.
And I just wish, I understand why it is a felony, but to me, it's not murder, rape. I feel like unless you're a kingpin, I feel like you're making ends meet. Majority of the time, people doing it to make ends meet. Because sometimes you make a lot of money, sometimes you don't. And for me, unless you're a kingpin, that means you controlling everything. So that's when you're ruining people's lives because you are the supplier
to the hood,
to the whole hood. And you run an organization which is like racketeering. You know what I'm saying? You run an affiliate association. You have a legit business
of destruction.
So I understand when that's a felony, but I feel like people on their first offense, let that be a learning curve.
But it's not really a learning curve because people will get back out there. It's a smack. If it was a smack on the wrist, you're going to go back and do the same thing because it's just a smack on the wrist.
Oh, yeah, of course. What I mean by is this, like, it should be like a probation period. For your first 5 years, maybe you're a felon. But also you got to attend all these. You got to attend an academy, some type of trade school where same thing is you're going to get financial aid. When you come from where I come from, you're automatically going to get approved. So put them in some type of school. Make it mandatory. If not, you're going back to jail.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to hold your felony.
It goes right back to
Give
education.
Them incentives. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, education, like an education incentive. All right, it's your first offense. So here's your shot.
Learn to be an electrician.
You got to go to school and you got to pick one of these trades or pick one of these degrees and you got to complete it within this time frame, or you go back to jail and you keep your felony on your record. But like I said, nobody going to see it like that.
Bro, you should run for politics.
Education is so important, man. I'm telling you, it's so important. It's the only thing I feel like that can change children because once you hit middle school, high school, you know what you want to do. 9 times out of 10, it's hard for you to go back, switch. It starts at a young age.
The education is very true. When I think of my older brother who dropped out of high school, he actually got his GED while he was locked up. And you see the route that he chose and the people that he hung around and when he got shot, all that stuff. I think it had to do with his, lack of desire for education. He really wanted to just have fun and be hood rat.
Fast money.
Yeah, fast money and all that. And my parents were not playing that. So he actually moved out of our house when he was 16. And it was straight downhill from there. As far as me, I was all about my education. I saw the things that he was doing and I said, that is not for me. I cannot see myself do. I like women.
Yeah.
Snow. I think everyone knows that. And I personally don't think there's many women in jail.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't a place for me.
Probably for him, I don't know your brother's situation, but it probably was an influential thing. He probably got around a certain group of people.
Oh, 1,000%.
And that's what drawed him to that. Because like you said, you guys have both of your parents at home. Anybody, it can happen to anybody. It don't matter where you from, where you come from. It just, for the people on the outside, it's more as an influence. You hang around the wrong group, you want to be like that. You become a follower.
It can happen this quick. 2 houses down from me when we lived in Queens, one of my neighbors, he just used to hang outside on the porch. Somebody walked up to him one day and asked him if he wanted to smoke some weed. He took that hit of that weed, not knowing that they was cracking it. Whew. It's crazy to see someone's life deteriorate. Right before your eyes. One hit, he became a crackhead. The troubles that I saw this family go through was unreal.
Right.
And then sure enough, not too soon after, his brother was this huge drug dealer. I just don't get it. You see what your brother's going through, and you now a supplier of that tragic death sentence.
It's a selfish game, man. When you become the supplier, you think about that fast money. You know what I wish every drug dealer thought? Let me do this for a certain period of time and let me get out. Don't let the fast money hook you, because if you're going to sell drugs and you're going to do it for real, and you're going to do it like to build and make all this money, use it to change you. Use it to buy you a business, get you away from it. Don't stay in it.
Hey,
but
listen, start your own clothing brand.
Whatever it is. But what happens is they get that money and they buy you dumb stuff. I seen a picture going online on social media. It was a picture of a dude. He had an old beat up house, and it was a damn BMW like on 26s. A 750 on 26s in front of the house, and the picture said, "What's wrong here?"
Yeah.
You got $100,000 car
that you had to pay to modify.
You had to pay to modify.
Burst the warranty because they ain't warranty in that.
I'm pretty sure you bought it cash because you can't get no finance. Yeah. You ain't got no paper trail.
I see that a lot down here. People, I did an interview previously with this gentleman, and we talked a lot about gentrification of neighborhoods.
Right.
And how people think it's so wrong. But he says, hey, listen, yo, how you selling all this stuff to tear down your neighborhood, but yet you won't even invest in your own neighborhood and buy the properties in your own neighborhood, but yet you upset when you see others do it. You had your chance. They call it FOMO. I missed out.
Yeah, and that happens to a lot of people. You in the moment. You living in the moment. That's the problem. Like I said, I read something the other day. It said, when most people commit crimes, they thinking about themselves. They don't think what's going to happen to me. If everybody had that mind, what's going to happen to me, and you can weigh out the risks, the pros and the cons, I'm pretty sure you'll think twice before you make every decision.
Well, people think big risk, big reward.
Big reward, yeah.
But the thing is that reward ain't that big.
It ain't.
You have to scrap for it, and you scrapping dollar by dollar.
Dollar by dollar, yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Bro, I really have to say, I appreciate you coming out and sharing this. Man, what I gotta say, a life of tragedy and triumph, because you got out of it, but you've seen so many not.
Right.
So many lose their lives at such a young age.
Yeah, man.
People with potential to be better than what they were, but opportunities taken.
Definitely, man. I wouldn't say I suffer from PTSD, but I definitely always have a lot of nightmares. I don't know how to be soft, I would say. And that's something I'm learning till this day. It's okay. Talk about things, let emotions out. I feel like I've been so bottled up since I've been a kid. I got so much
built up in
me. Whenever I do ever shed a tear, I break down because I never really shed a tear ever.
Do you have sons or daughters?
I have daughters.
All right. Do you find yourself being emotional with them? Are you able to show them a better way and share with them a better direction?
Oh yeah, that's my goal. See, that's always my mentality, because I always said to myself, nobody set me up for success. Ain't nobody gonna leave me no assets when none of my family members die. Nobody leaving me no insurance plan. Nobody giving me no head start in life. So my goal, whether I become rich or not, is to make sure my kids got a head start.
You got to do it.
Make sure I provide something for them to where they ain't scrapping when they turn 18 or forced to go out there and be on their own and suffer.
Everything we should do for our kids should really be about making sure that they don't have to go through the same struggles that we went through.
And that's my biggest goal. I live in a nice neighborhood, gated community. I bought my first house last year.
Congrats. Big moves.
Big move. So I told my wife, I didn't grow up with parents in the household to raise me. Like, this is really important to me, my kids. I want them to have that and see that, and it grows upon them like this is a norm. This is how it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is how it's supposed to be.
The street is not the norm.
The street is not the norm. And I will keep them far away from that. I would never show them that environment, that society.
Your wife, is she from a similar background or totally different background?
Totally different.
But you share your pain with her?
Oh, yeah.
She understands?
No, she don't. She can't understand, because she was sheltered. She grew up with a dad who probably had a background sort of like me, maybe, but he worked hard and he sheltered her till
she don't know about that life.
She don't know about that life. You know, she barely know about. You know, she's learning still like, as an adult about everything. Wow. She don't understand. She could never understand my pain. Like I said, the one person that understand my pain was my grandmother. You know, my great grandmother. She died when I was 18. I mean, it's a tough feeling, because sometimes you just want to shoulder the lean. I don't got nobody to ask nothing for. I know.
You got to get it on your own.
I got to get it on my own. For me, I'm always in grind mode. I'm quiet. I'm an observer. I'm a real observer. When I attend in crowds, I'm the person quiet. I'm listening.
Just looking.
I'm looking. I'm always an observer.
See, I'm the difference one. I'm the loud one. I'm popping up and everything. I'm living my life. But don't get it twisted. I'm always looking.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how much you doing what you're doing, it's always a small thing to look over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. I'm always on my P's and Q's.
Yeah,
It's just
what they say,
nature.
keep your head on the swivel.
Head on the swivel. Yeah.
All day,
Yes,
every
sir.
day. Bro, I really want to say I appreciate the story. I appreciate you sharing your pain.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people are not privy to that type of information, will not understand. They're not able to understand the mindset of even trying to run away from that
Right.
or once living in that. And yes, people are judgmental. It's hard not to be judgmental.
Right.
But you put a humanistic value on it, and I appreciate you for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All I want people to take from this is just understand, man. Just think when you see somebody doing something, man, just think, man, you don't know. It's wrong, and they deserve to be reprimanded, but you don't know. That's all I take from that, because I remember people judge my friends, and I said, my boy ain't had nothing. He come from the bottom of the bottom. Everything he did, I know why he turned that way, and of course we wish it went different, and it resulted in him being dead, but who was there to love him and show him any other way?
Ladies and gents, once again, you are here talking sweet with Sweet Baby J. Life is not always a hee ha ha laughable moment. It gets real, and we talking about the real today. Love you all. Thanks for listening. We over here at Dovecote, Livingston, and North Orange Avenue. Sexy ladies coming through. Good looking dudes come through. Meet your future lover. Come down here, have a drink with your lover. Hey, come down here with your lover and observe your future lover. You never know how it can go.
Yeah, you might find the right one.
You might find the right one. It's different for different people. Ladies and gents, stay beautiful. Thanks for listening.
That's about it.